What's up, everyone? We're back here again with another video at Giles FBA, and today we're going to be exploring BQool. Now, BQool, for those who don't know, is basically repricing software that will go in your listings and set automatically based on conditions that you set, or you can use their AI repricing. It will change your price based on, other sellers' actions on what they're doing with their pricing. And so it's pretty simple. There's very good rules that I'm about to show that have helped me in the past. I've been an Amazon FBA seller for a couple of months now, and I used to not have a repricer for my first couple of months. And it was kind of hard to manually, go between each listing and change the pricing for them. It's actually a really annoying process. And so I employed the BQool as a software, and now it helps me, automate that process of repricing my items and being able to capture that buy box. So let's go ahead and go into more depth into how this works. Over here, you'll see, you have a bunch of different listings, that are on your seller's page, and you'll set a cost. You'll set a minimum price. A minimum price is usually, I set that at, the lowest that I'm willing to go, and that's usually around 20% ROI on my product. And my max is usually, I set it to the max. I look at Keepa data and I see what is the highest the product's ever sold at. Usually you don't get to the max price because I like setting these ranges pretty wide so I don't have to touch them. Yeah, basically, what's the minimum you'll be willing to sell this and what's the maximum you'll be willing to sell this. And BQool really makes it really nice by having its own built-in calculators for you to be able to see, how much money are you actually making at each price, if it's at your min price and things of that nature. So without further ado, let's go more into depth on how we set up these repricing rules. So you'll go and click repricing rules, and I have two rules set up. Now there's two scenarios that a seller will encounter when listing stuff. There's getting the buy box. There's listings that have a buy box, and there's listings that have absolutely no buy box, or it's very rare that they'll have the buy box. And so we'll have two different listings, set up for that. Once you're on the repricing rules page, you'll go and see that there's a couple of different AI repricing rules. And generally, I didn't really like these in my experience, as I tend to notice that it kind of just reprices down as time goes down. And what we're trying to do here as a repricer we're trying to make more money, right? As an Amazon seller, your first goal is to make profit, right? Not sell and get orange bars. You want to make profit. And so I've set up two different FBA repricing rules that will help you, maximize your profit in the two different scenarios of if your listing has a buy box or it doesn't have a buy box. So let's go ahead and check out that first scenario. So we'll go over here, and this is our buy box rule. So usually you'll get a couple of different things, and what you want to do is you want to go to the rule-based repricing. So you'll click rule-based repricing, and then you'll set a custom rule, and you can call this whatever. Just know that this is the repricing rule for having the buy box. And so you'll go over to your competitors, and it's very important here. So you're competing with the buy box price, not lowest price, because lowest price was usually going to be FBM sellers who, in order to even sell their product, they have to be the lowest price. What's nice about being an FBA seller is if the buy box is at a certain price, it can be much higher than the lowest price. Usually you'll be able to capture sales at whatever that buy box price is, because people are going to be, Amazon is actually promoting your listing more because you're a prime activated listing. So we want to go over here and we want to set compete with buy box price. And the competitors that we want to go with are Amazon, FBA, and non-featured FBA. And so this allows us to not worry about if FBM sellers are hitting that buy box, because again, they have different fees that are associated with being FBM. They have to pay for shipping, things of that nature. So just make sure that we have these three competitors checked. And so these on default will be off, but I would turn these three settings on. Usually as a customer, you're not going to be really trustworthy of sellers that have feedback. They don't have that many stars. So what I like doing, and what's helped me a lot in the past, is setting this at this exclude sellers positive feedback rating lower than 80%. And I tend to see that I still capture a ton of sales. And actually, these sellers with lower feedback are forced to price down in order to try to capture some more sales, because their seller review count and their feedback rating, they don't have 5 stars. It's kind of harder to capture those sales. So a person with 5 stars can price their items higher because they'll sell, because they'll guarantee have the great feedback on their listings. And you want to exclude sellers' total feedback count lower than 1. So this basically excludes new sellers, and this will help because new sellers tend to just try to test out the waters. They set their listings, their pricing pretty low to just try to capture some type of sales. So this will help you a lot in that. And you also want to exclude sellers with back-ordered product. And so this will make it so once your Amazon inventory or FBA inventory has been fully checked in, then you will be competing with those sellers that, have fully checked in product and, aren't really messing with the pricing in that aspect, because, you don't want to be competing with sellers that won't have stock for another month, right? Doesn't really make sense. So we'll click next and go over here. And this will be defaulted to the buy box price at -1 cent. And you don't want that, because that's basically going to be activating other people's repricers and saying, okay, you want people to set, okay, so if I have buy box at $20, I want to set it at $19.99. And then what happens if someone else gets the buy box at $19.99 and your repricer is set at 1 cent? You're basically going to be killing down the price until you get down to your guys' minimums. And that's how you kill a listing. So make sure that this is set up at a -0. You want to have auto compete on for this. When buy box winner equals minimum price, you want to use your min price, and you want to have these settings checked. And when buy box is suppressed, you don't want to have you don't want to reprice, because we have another list. We have another rule set up for that. So yeah, this is generally what you want. And then over here, you can change your advanced settings, which basically allows you to set up custom rules based on who your competitor is. I generally turn these off. I don't really use them that much. But as you use these rules, you can see kind of, you can play around with these and see, what works for you best. And so this is over here where kind of why I even call the rule maximize profit in the first place. So once you have buy box, you want to start repricing up slowly and seeing, can I still have the buy box as I reprice up and increase profit? And in order for us to do this, once we get the buy box, you want to raise the buy box to within a cent. And BQool will keep on doing this until you end up losing the buy box, and they'll know for the next time, okay, I can't price it this high or this big of a difference. Use that data to help you in the future. So you also want to have this set to use max price. And again, our competitors are FBA, Amazon, and non-featured FBA. So over here is something new that a lot of sellers have been testing. This is the schedule feature. And basically this allows you to reprice all of your listings that are set to this rule, 5% or however much percent you want up. And this really, there's not really a lot of volume going on during these times where I have it set, which is 3 a.m. So because of that, you basically use this in order to try to get other people's pricing up, get their repricers to price up, and try to build a listing up that way. And then as you do that, you'll see if you can raise their pricing up. If their new pricing hits the buy box, now you've set the pricing up for all of the repricers to match that buy box price. Because generally what FBA repricers will do, they will try to just match the buy box. And so this is a really good way of trying to, get that price up of your listing and, maximize your profit. So that will be the buy box rule. And now if we go back here, we'll go to what our FBA no buy box rule is. So you want to, similarly to how the buy box rule was, you want to click rule based, and then you want to click custom rule. Now call this whatever you want, just make sure that it's obvious that this is for no buy box. And you want to set your no buy box rule to these competitors. So Amazon, FBA, and non-featured FBA. And there's a big difference here. This is basically the main difference between the two rules. You're competing with the lowest price here. And your competitors are not FBM sellers, right? That's what we set here. You're competing with the lowest FBA, and generally, even if there's lower priced FBM sellers, they generally don't capture as much sales as the lowest price FBA. You know, it's generally a little bit different. You know, there's those edge cases that sometimes, you know, FBM sellers will get more, but in general, 90% of the time, FBA sellers will get a majority of the sales. So you want to be matching the FBA sellers because they'll generally be priced higher as well. And then you want to set these up to similarly how we did with the other rule, 80% one feedback count lower, and exclude sellers with backordered product. And so this is also similar to our other rule. It's basically all of the same settings. You want to use the competitor's price and match that once you're in the buy box. When you're not in the buy box, to try to get the buy box, you set these up to autocomplete, use minimum price, and these are all good. And it's basically similar. Now, for this, I have a special rule set up for FBA versus Amazon. FBA versus Amazon. Amazon is generally going to get items for a lot cheaper than you can possibly get because they bulk buy these products and it makes each cost per unit much lower. So what you want to do when this happens is if Amazon is above the minimum price that you set, you want to price 5% lower because Amazon generally doesn't share buy box on products if they're selling on that, depending on their price. If their price is above what your minimum price is at, just set your price 5% below what their price is at. So that would help you a lot in trying to capture sales. And these are all the settings that you might want to have. Generally, this has helped me a lot. So next, so this is also the same. Once you're in that buy box, we want to raise that. You know, we keep wanting to raise that to try to maximize our profit. And when we go next, we'll have the same exact custom rules set up as you're scheduled. And this will again help us in trying to, you know, trying to get other people's repricers to price their listings higher and generally maximize profit for everyone. So, you know, I would highly recommend doing this part of it because it would allow all of us as sellers to, you know, sell for higher amounts. And basically, yeah, that's it between those two rules. Just kind of reiterating again, the reason why you will want to have a repricer is you want to maximize your profit. And when you have tons of listings, like 100+ listings, not even 10+ listings, you want to have a repricer because going in every day and trying to reprice them manually is a pain in the ass. No one wants to do that. So, you know, I would highly recommend using BQool as a beginner because I believe they are $25 a month for 1,000 rule-based listings. That also gives you the opportunity to try out their AI-based repricing, but I would personally steer away from that because I found that the AI repricing rules generally price slower over time, going towards your minimum price. So yeah, if you use these rules, you should be able to maximize your profits by a lot. These rules have been worked on by a lot of sellers, and they're used by a lot of sellers, and it's helped out generally for a lot of sellers. So yeah, that's basically a little overview of the two rules that we use at Giles FBA in order to maximize your profit. Thanks, everyone.